communities along the volatile borders. Yeah, the Keyo Valley, the one my Baringo, as my colleague has mentioned. So just not that one. Two, we all know the kind of era we are in as a country, as a globe. What technological innovation as an IG will you employ to solve complex crime of our time, such as cybercrime, murders, drug trafficking, and money laundering? So I think you've gotten me clearly. Yeah, the complicated, the modern crime, the innovations. I want to ask on some question. I will start with Honorable Protas Akunja.
Chair.
So take the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chairs, I want to ask the nominee for the IG position to give a detailed account, or rather describe the National Police Service. What is the identity of the service? What are the most striking points in this service? And what do you think is the perception of the ordinary Kenyans about the police service? And whether this worries or encourages you. Secondly, what is your take on the current status of the National Police Service Commission, and what will be your working relationship between the National Police Service and the National Police Service Commission? What do you contemplate of that? Then an additional question related to what the two chairs have talked about, the cattle rustling. Cattle rustling has become a thorn in the flesh in the North Rift and neighboring counties. Lives have been lost, property have been destroyed, social amenities have been destroyed, schools closed, dispensaries closed, and displacement of people has happened. And intelligence is telling us the police are also involved in one way or another, because animals are taken and you cannot get recovery. And some of these animals go as far as Uganda, Kampala. So what are some of the strategies will you put in place as the new IG? Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, fair enough. Senator Haji. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. My question was also on the cattle rustling, but I guess my chair already asked on that. Maybe I could just ask the IG to maybe tell us what he knows about wash, in his own opinion and experience.
Can you answer those ones first? Or we give you another set of one member, maybe? We had one member? Yeah, because I think there are not many questions. I'm seeing Senator Mugor want to say something. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Koome, this question has actually been kind of chiseled here and there. My question is, what specific steps will you take to cap this menace of cattle rustling? And I would like you to be very particular, because some of the places like Isiolo are very persistent, and Isiolo is not far from where you grew up. And there's a lot of cry there, year in, year out. Then secondly, you go to Samburu, you move to Pokot, and unfortunately the attitude sometimes from some of the officers deployed in those areas is why die for a cow? Let the people that drive cows die for their cows. So their attitude is very passive while there is loss of lives, while there is loss of property. And these are Kenyans that they took oath to protect their lives and also their properties. Then my second and last question is on this illicit brews and also where police end up collecting money from border people on the road, travelers in matatus, without, logical reason as to why they even stop them in the first place. So sometimes I think because there are no particular reasons and instructions as to why they are manning that road or they are on that road, they end up doing the wrong things. It's like what people say, an idle mind will be a tool of the devil.
Senator, I'm sorry to, I'm just discovering that we may be repeating maybe a time, same question. So kindly, considering our number, it's a mixed house of Senate and National Assembly. If a question has been addressed or asked by a colleague, you can leave that one. Also, I ask you to, we try to be brief. We still have quite a number of members who have indicated they want to contribute. Yes, I think on cattle rustling, it's been asked quite a number of members. So maybe before we give other members, let him answer those questions. Then we go to another set of questions. And I ask you members to kindly be brief. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, members, senators. Now, this matter regarding cattle rustling, I think each of those members who asked the question touched on cattle rustling. Incidentally, it's not even cattle rustling. It is livestock rustling. Because in that business, actually what is involved more is goats. It's not even the cows, it's the goats. Therefore, it's livestock rustling. A study was carried out by IGAD, and the findings were very worrying. That every year, the amount of money involved in terms of cows, goats involved is about 4.92 billion every year. It's 4.92 billion. Then the cost in terms of displacement, the destruction, foodstuff destroyed, homes burnt down. The costs, all that quantified, is about 40-something billion. In total, every year we lose about 51 billion in livestock rustling. That's a substantial amount of money. And we've not even quantified. We can't quantify. You cannot put any value on a life lost. You can't. Chair, co-chair, honorable members, we are at a point where enough is enough. Officers have been running up and down, pursuing the raiders, who are youths, idle youths. But we have been leaving out the livestock. Are they barons or lawns? We have been leaving out the livestock loans.
The warlords.
The loans. Because this is a major criminal commercial enterprise. let's be sincere, it is a major criminal commercial enterprise. If we continue pursuing these youths, who at the end of the day get very little out of that enterprise, and we are leaving out the loans, we shall not get anywhere. Chair, co-chair, members, senators, if you approve my nomination, I'll come back to this committee so that livestock clustering is treated as a terrorist act. That way, any livestock lot or we shall arrest will go to jail for life. And that way, this business, this criminal activity will end. Therefore, I'll come back to you if you approve my nomination, members, so that we can work together and deal with this problem once and for all. The youths who are involved in this criminal activity, we need to give them some training, maybe vocational training. They can be involved. There is a shortage of plumbers in this country. There is a shortage of competence. So we can give these youth skills. Then the reformed, those reformed raiders, we give an incentive so that those who are being recruited will be discouraged. Chair, co-chair, we need a Marshall Plan. We used to have a livestock clustering in Kachiriba. It's no longer the case. Now there are people farming. Kachiriba these days is very safe. Arare area. Why can't we do the same to Tia? Why can't we do the same to Rokori? There is another member who said I'm a Nairobi person. There is no part of this country I've not been to. I've been to Kiunga, I've been to Kibich. I served in anti-unit, pursuing cattle rustlers. Therefore, a chair, let's have a Marshall Plan for those areas. We cannot at all allow leaving some areas behind as other parts of this country develop. Otherwise, the legitimacy of the state will be lost. So those are the strategies. I'm allowed to get into this office. First, we start with those loans. I hope I've addressed on the livestock clustering. The other one I need to mention, go back to, is to resolve all these challenges we have. As I mentioned, is the county policing authorities. This committee, again, if my nomination is approved, let's operationalize the county policing authorities. Who are the members of this authority? The governor is the chairperson. The county police commander is a member. The NIS coordinator of that county is a member. The CID commander is a member. Then two members elected are nominated by the county assembly of that county. Two members are members of that authority. Then members representing religious organizations, the youth, women, people who require special needs, they are represented in that committee, that authority. And every constituency is represented. So if those county policing authorities are operational, that would be a game changer in this country. The collapsing buildings we are having in Kiambu, because Kiambu, the challenge there is not cattle rustling. Within that county, their challenge, security challenge is collapsing buildings. So that committee is able to, that authority can, so that is a strategy I intend to bring into this once I am in that office. That's the strategy I'm going to employ. Chair, you asked about the emerging crimes. Actually, the most worrying one is falsified medicine. That's the most worrying now. Other than cybercrime, among others, falsified, fraudulent medicine in the market. You are diabetic, but you take that pill every morning, you are not actually addressing the problem. You are taking something else. So therefore, that is why we want to enhance, Chair, once you give me this opportunity to serve as the IG, immediately enhance our capacity so that we are able, we have officers with the knowledge, the training, the capacity to address the emerging challenges. Honorable Guja talked about the worries. Chair, I'm not worried. I'm equal to the task. With the support of this committee and fellow the police officers. Incidentally, we have very good police officers in this country. 98% very professional, patriotic, is only 2%. Very professional, doing very good job. Therefore, Honorable Gunja, I have the critical mass. I have the critical mass to change that 2%. I've just come from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, attending Interpol meeting. And every country wanted to know about how we managed to sit terrorism attack. It was done very well, very professional. Every country wanted a presentation from us. Or now Kenya, very professional police officers, very competent. Senator Mogo, illicit brews, big challenge, Chair. Co-chair, big challenge. Our youths must stop this liking for alcohol. We are drinking too much. This must be managed, or else we are going to lose our country. I have passion for this area. Illicit brews and drugs. Because we are not careful, as I've stated, we are going to lose our generation. This again, we need a chair. If you approve my nomination, immediately, I will not wait for the CEO Nakada to come to my office. I'll go to his office and discuss about this problem. Is building synergy, working together, multi-agency approach. And we're able to guide our children. That alcohol, drinking too much alcohol, getting into drugs, that is not the way to go. Senator Haji, wash, very unfortunate. And, even people who have been very educated people have got into this trap. Very embarrassing. Even at times when you go to give evidence in the court, everybody looks at you. Shuare, did that happen? Get rich quickly, peer pressure. We must live within our means. We have no option. Let's live within our means. Let us not be married to make millions. We live within our means. So I think, again, the question by Senator Mogo, it was on cattle rustling, is Samburu. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Thank you, members. Thank you, senators.
Thank you, our nominee, Mr. Koome. We still have a number of members who want to answer question, but just want to bring to the attention of the members that there is one Irungu Houghton. I don't know who is he, who wanted to ask something on police reform. Our standing orders and the procedures does not allow, you are a stranger in this. Maybe it will have happened in form of a petition. But I'm sure the same, one of your requests may be addressed is among the many questions I'm seeing members floating. So kindly and very fast, we have got Senator Nyamu, Honorable Caroline and Kapondi in that order. Quickly, because I'm seeing our time is a bit rushing.
Thank you, Chair. Inspector Koome, there has been hue and cry lately about our girls who are going to work outside the country, and particularly in the Arab countries. There has also been an influx of contraband goods in the country, and the hot topic of tax evasion that even the president has taken the forefront in campaigning for tax, that ensuring citizens pay their taxes. What is your strategy to deal with these rogue employment agencies and the counterfeit goods and the issue of tax evasion? Secondly, Inspector, what new approaches will you employ to ensure safety and security of all citizens and their property across the country, as is your #1 mandate? New approaches. I'm sure, being part of the police service for 31 years, you know of all approaches being employed, what has worked, what has failed. Do you have any new approaches that you wish you get this opportunity to apply and change things to ensure security of property and citizens? Thank you.
Quickly, Ngeleche. Yes, Vice.
Honorable Chair, the nominee before us is much higher than an inspector. An inspector is a very junior officer in the police force. So if we don't know the rank, let us just address him as the nominee. Thank you, Chair.
I am guided. I got that from Senior Counsel Ojenda. I don't know where he got that title from.
Chair, the nominee before us is a Senior Assistant Inspector General. That is the title. But he has applied to be an Inspector General. So whichever way, he is still going to be an inspector, but Inspector General.
So, Faida, I think on that one,
No, really.
I think the House is guided.
It is not good to mislead the House. The nominee has not applied to become the IG. He has been nominated. I think it is good to put it correctly.
But
It's matters of law.
Chair, I think for purposes of that issue, let us, so that we don't get confusion at some point, for all purposes of this meeting, let us just refer to him as the nominee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The nominee, thank you so much. And my name is again Honorable Caroline Ngeleche, County MP for Elgeyo Marakwet County. And I'm happy that you served in ASTU, that is anti-stock theft, in 1998. That is when I was in high school. But then I know the House might get tired of this same issue, but as myself in Parliament, I am Elgeyo Marakwet, and Elgeyo Marakwet is my business. And if you can collect views from the people of Elgeyo Marakwet watching this interview, they'll definitely tell you that the issues that you handled, how you answered the questions on banditry, are the same issues that we've always had, and there has not been any difference. I wish that you can go deeper. Tell us, you've talked about opening up the area and training the youth to be plumbers and blah, blah, blah. But then tell us the short-term measures, because that is a very active thing currently. The president talked about it family in, I think it was Samburu, then the next day there was an attack. Kindly tell us the immediate and short-term measures that, if given the opportunity, you're going to implement. Tell us how you're going to do the disarmament differently, the way it's been done. Because since I was a baby, there's been disarmaments in that area every now and then. Then you wonder, where do firearms come from thereafter? Do you do disarmament, then the firearms are returned back to the people? Tell us. I cannot talk about it family because during attacks, many a times when you collect the cartridges left by the bandits, you find that they belong to the government of Kenya. Tell us how you're going to do, or how you're going to handle the whole affair, how you're going to collaborate with the manufacturers to ensure that there is a watertight security and only firearms are given to the rightful people, and how are you going to ensure that there is no misuse by police officers or those charged or those given the responsibility about it. Tell us about the new technology. We know we are in a techno era whereby things change. Tell us how you're going to handle banditry with technology. Are you going to deploy drones? Are you going to get more sophisticated firearms? Tell us if you're going to employ aircrafts, or we want to hear such things, because how I had the question, how you answered the question to me is the normal things that we've always had. We've had meetings and meetings, and I can assure you, even in the shopping centers, there at home, people are talking about what you're talking about. We have a police station, and if you worked in us too, you must be knowing all the camps in the Kerio Valley. We have a camp in the Kerio Valley called Tot. It doesn't have enough police officers. The police officer, some 6 months ago, 3 children were killed within that area. Tell us, is it the issue of not enough police officers, of unprofessional police officers? Tell us if these police officers are there just to earn an income or to earn a salary and leave the place. Tell us about the arrests ever made. You know, we always see criminals being taken to court. Myself, I've not witnessed a criminal on banditry charged before a court of law. Last year, in Elgeyo Marakwet, we lost more than 100 people to banditry. So, no, don't moderate me, Honorable Kapondi. Sorry, Honorable Kapondi is just, but I'm about to finish it up. Tell us how you're going to ensure that these criminals wanapatikana na wanapelekwa kotini. Finally, the whole affair, when you talk about short-term issues, tell us what you're going to do with those people, or with the business or movement of livestock from one place to another. If you see a truckload of livestock passing Nakuru to Dakoreti or to Athi River, just tell us how you're going to know that this truck is not faring proceeds of banditry. Those are the things I would have wished to hear. And I can assure you that we might not achieve a lot if you're not going to answer me those questions, because my people will want to know what you're going to do that is different. Thank you so much.
Honorable Kapondi, then we give to the nominee to respond. Nominee, Engineer Koome, I must appreciate the fact that you have passion for the job, going by your history. Having been a policeman even before you were recruited at the University of Nairobi. Engineer Koome, this is the 21st century. Colleagues are talking about rustling, which may require a fiscal approach. But the emerging trends in crime coming to the 21st century, and without proper preparedness is a cybercrime. That is a new frontier. Yes, you have been given what the Constitution provides for. That is the budget, independence of the office, so that you can execute your mandate. What are you going to do in terms of investment in technology with limited budget? Because the budget, I believe, will not be sufficient enough, given the myriad of issues that you are supposed to tackle as the IG nominee. Good. Maybe it's your turn, Mr. Koome.
Chair, co-chair, honorable members, senators, I wish to start with a question by Senator Nyamo. Our young people who are going to Saudi Arabia, the other day I traveled with them. I traveled in economy class, Saudi Airline, and I went with those our youths, huge, big number, and that happens on daily basis. Full load, airplane going to Jeddah, going to Riyadh. And they look very innocent. I remember even as we were taking off, and somehow because of they could see there's an elderly, sitting next to them, so I was managing them because the flight was very uncomfortable. That indicates how innocent they are. When we got to, we had an engagement with them. And they would tell me, all these stories you read about back at home, it may not be the reality. When I was flying back, again, my connection, the flight, took me about 3 or 4 hours. Again, quite a number who have been there for 4 years. 3 years coming back. And a long discussion with them. Because I want them to understand really what is the issue. That is a matter we really need to study the truth in it, or exactly what is happening. It is a matter we need, it needs to be understood very well through multi-agency approach, immigration, of course, the labor ministry, also be interested. These are our children. Therefore, is an area I may not be very competent to comment further about, but there is a lot. There is a lot in that area. These are our children. We cannot allow them to be mistreated. But I would mention why at times, because most of you have visited Saudi Arabia. You know there is no compromise. You must be law-abiding. A slight thing, you find yourself in jail. And there's no compromise. So therefore, Chair, allow me not to go further into that one. But if you allow me, again, my nomination to be approved, this is a matter I'm interested in from a security and safety perspective. Senator Nyamo, tax evasion. And His Excellency the President has pronounced himself on this. Chair, co-chair, honorable members, once you approve my nomination, I intend to cover our border a lot more. I remember asking the other day the regional commander, Northeastern, if he ever saw a Mumias Rolly, Mumias Sugar Company Rolly in Garissa. And he cannot recall when he last saw one. So what is the indication? What are the indicators? All the sugar they consume around there may not be local sugar. It is through the porous border. The rice, I remember him telling me, he has never seen a Moya rice lorry driving to Garissa. Therefore, this is a matter is once my nomination is approved through a multi-agency approach, for the sake of our country, is a matter we need to resolve. We are losing a lot of wealth of this country. Yes, safety measures I'll put in place. I'll invest a lot in building capacity of officers. When you have qualified human resource with capacity, that is worth investing in that area. Therefore, our investors have stated quite a lot in terms of building capacity of our officers. Honorable Caroline, Katolasori, Chair, I seek your indulgence. I'm aware we are being watched by friendly forces and unfriendly forces. There are some bits of strategies, unless we have curtains drawn, some strategies may compromise the security of our beautiful country. So, Chair, I need you to be guided in that area. However, Honorable Caroline, once you approve my nomination, we shall have been to talk.
The Chair, point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Could the nominee restrict himself to, if we approve his nomination, not once, we approve his nomination? Thank you.
No, it's okay. He's saying your problem is the language, is the word used. Yeah. So please restrict to if.
Okay.
You know,
well guided.
words have a lot of meanings.
Okay. So just go on. Paul Akinyi. Just move on. You are on somewhere on Lengeletich.
Chair, maybe it's an issue of language. It's an issue of language.
Yeah.
But this is not, English is not his borrowed language.
I know you said when, but I know you meant if.
But it's may.
Yeah, so
just in case it's out of your.
Proceed, Mr. Koome.
Therefore, Chair, Honorable Caroline, I'll go with you. I'll go to thought and ensure that we listen to, and that's why I mentioned the Chair. The game changer is once we make this the county policing authorities operational. That is what will change the situation we're in. Because every county will identify, this is our problem. That is what they'll discuss. The community are involved. The local leadership is involved. Then every constituency, because the Act say, National Police Act states that every constituency must be represented in that authority. Therefore, Chair, we are able to even get a lot more information because the strategy I intend to employ is intelligence-led policing. I must have intelligence. There's this cattle Lastora who is in that cave. We shall go there. There is this livestock lot who is managing all that, who is funding. Therefore, the game changer, as I've stated, is the county policing authorities, and that will be immediate. As, with due respect, if just, if I'm allowed, given the opportunity, I hope that is better. If I'm given the opportunity, I will immediately ensure that those county policing authorities are operational and serving our people. We have no spare country. We must ensure our country is safe and secure for everybody. Thank you, Chair.
One, I think it's clear to all of us that the nominee is talking about some sensitive security matters that may not be safe. So I think I will ask members to give benefit of doubt on that. We believe he means yes. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to. I know how passionate, how touching these matters wrestlings are in majority of our communities. But it's an opportunity that we may discuss even further. So kindly, let's.
It's okay. We give him the benefit of doubt.
So, okay, I think you still have one question unanswered from Honorable Kapondi.
Thank you, Chair, and Co-Chair, and honorable members and senators. Honorable Kapondi, I have passion for this job. I have passion for police work. And you again mentioned about livestock lastering. Mount Elgon, I'll mention Honorable Kapondi. All those places, keep Silk Rock. I've been to all those places with the effort of making sure that our people enjoy their existence. That is the energy we intend to bring to this office. When allowed. We are constrained in terms of budget. Sure, that is true. I'm aware that our moderation budget was about 10 billion. It was cut by 9 billion. So we are now on 1 billion out of 10 billion. Therefore, I will again come back to this honorable committee so that I get more funds. I'm able to buy MRAPs and personnel carriers, surveillance equipment. And thank you, Chair. Those are the questions which were presented before me.
Thank you. Members, let me give to my co-chair to moderate the remaining part. I know Honorable Korere. Yeah.
Thank you. We get another 3 or 4 members. And I want to start with Mheshimiwa Korere.
Thank you, Chair. I have 3 questions to Bwana Koome. Question number 1. You've just mentioned that currently you have 2,900 recruits at the Kiganjo campus, police campus. And you are the immediate commandant of that college. My question is, are you aware that almost half of those recruits, if not all, have literally paid their way into that college through the corruption in recruitment? And it's becoming a very expensive venture to get recruited into the police force probably because of the unemployment situation in our country. Question number 2, the mental health issues among the police force. If you look at the news nowadays, you hardly go for a week without hearing a police officer have shot themselves, they have shot their family, they have shot so and so. It's not just in the police force, but there are mental health issues among our youth. You actually mentioned that if we don't deal with the drugs and substance abuse, we are losing a generation. And that generation we are risking losing is actually the same generation in the police force. What are you going to do to address the mental health issues among the police officers? Then finally, and still on the issues of mental health issues and discipline, when you come to some of our constituencies, especially those of us from the north, sometimes we wonder whom we have wronged in this country. You get a police station where all the officers who are posted there are not serviceable. And when you take keen interest to know why, most of these guys are there on disciplinary issues. So if a police station in Marsabit, for example, in Laikipia North, in Elgeyo Marakwet, all the officers on disciplinary issues are posted there, honestly, why would that happen? Are those citizens, is it because they believe that these guys are cattle rustlers, they are so indisciplined, so you take all the indisciplined officers there? How are you going to ensure that we get serviceable men and women, credible, to deal with the issues we have? Then finally, about the Kiganjo Training School. You know, Kiganjo Training School, I'm sure you have some constituent training areas, either in private lands and some in community land. There is a training area for police in a place called Mugogodo, where I'm lucky to have been born and brought up. And we've had issues of unexploded ordnances blowing up children. And currently there is, a very big role between the police and the members of the community. We know the police must train there, or should train there because they are Kenyan police, they protect us. But what action are you going to take to make sure that the communities are compensated and the communities get returns for hosting the police there to train in their land? This is community land. The members of that community have title deeds. It is not gazetted as a police training area. What are you going to do in that field?
Thank you, Honorable Korere. Very serious questions on that. I allow Honorable Hussein. You have the floor.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I have 4 pertinent questions. The first one is, our police officers live in a very pathetic situations when it comes to their housing. Especially where I come from, Mandera, I visited the police stations, and you cannot imagine the kind of, houses they live. I want to ask the nominee, what plans do you have in changing the lives of our police officers living situation? Number 2, I'm sure the nominee has served in several, senior positions in this country. And he is fully aware that there are so many extrajudicial killings that have happened, especially in the last 5 years. In Mandera alone, over 100 people were killed. Some of them, the bodies were recovered. Others, up to date, their bodies have not yet been recovered. An incident in Nairobi, my own cousin, Abdirizak Mukhtar Ido, was arrested in Mandera and taken to court. he was charged and released later. When he was released, just a few meters from the court, he was snatched from the vehicle with his parents. To date, that person is not found. We don't know where he is, whether alive or dead. My question is, because you served in a senior position, you may have information in the whereabouts of that person and many others that are missing. Another incident is a senior chief in a place called Fino have been taken away during the night with his father-in-law. People thought he died. 7 months later, when even his wife has been taken away by another husband, the guy was dropped and thrown somewhere.
It is by another man.
You know, in our society, when someone dies, there is what we call wife inheritance. And you see, people thought that this person died months ago. The guy was thrown in a forest, but disabled, completely out. Up to date, that guy is in my constituency. He could not go back to his duty. Up to now, the guy, several camels have been, slaughtered just to make sure that he comes back to normal. But he can't. He's disabled. That is an incident that has happened. Another incident that happened, someone in Arabia, a sub-county in Mandera, has been taken away from his home while he was in a wedding. He wedded a new wife. Taken away. And this is done by our security agents. He was also dropped 8 months later when all his properties were shared by the relatives. They have shared through, inheritance. The wife taken, the properties taken, the animals taken. These are the incidents that have happened. So what plans do you have in changing that kind of extrajudicial killings? These are the ones that are recovered, but others have not been seen to date. Number 3, in our area and in most of the, the pastoral areas, like Turkana, I know Marakwet and all these areas, we have what we call Kenya police reserves that are really helping. Also national police reserves that are helping the society and helping our police force because they understand the situation. They understand the panya routes in the area. But the problem is that they're extremely poorly paid to the tune of 10,000. In fact, the NBRs are paid 5,000 shillings per month. Someone holding a gun and you are giving him 5,000. What do you expect? What plans do you have in at least improving their living standard? Number 4, over 2,000 plots in Mandera, over 2,000 plots owned by my own constituents have been settled by police officers. They have gone to court, gone everywhere. Up to date, that land, it's settled by our police forces. Right now, it's not even an inhabitable place because of, the weapons that have been left and, the buildings that have been put there. What plans do you have also to return that land to the owners and compensating them for the 11 years our forces have been settled there? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lastly, Honorable Kaunya, you can now answer those. Very weighty.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chair, I would like to ask the nominee a few questions, particularly as relates to as it relates to the area of governance and the enforcement of the law. Would like to hear from the nominee, and it's closely related to the issue of the vision. What leadership style would we expect from you, particularly being the commander of the police? What is your thinking about police as a service, as a force? Nominee, you'll note that the police have come a long way in terms of what we have talked about reforming. The police attitude, whereas, as you indicated, majority of police officers may be doing a good job and working hard, but there's the aspect that we have not been able to bridge the gap between the citizen-centric police and a system-centric police. Obviously, we expect the police to serve. So we would want to know what steps you will take, if approved as the IG, to ensure that this gap is narrowed so that the citizen can be able to get the services and have trust in the police, because I think that's the major area of the gap. Now, I want to ask a question on the handling of disciplinary cases. You will not notice that as the IG, you are also a member of the National Police Service Commission. You have a role as an IG, and the commission has a role. Can you clarify to the members how you are going to balance between the role of IG and the role of Public Service Commission, especially the HR function? Because most times there's a problem in terms of the balancing. And lastly, Chair, I would like to ask the nominee, since you are commandant of the training college at Kiganjo, I happen to have been also a commandant for college. And one of the things that is a big challenge that I think we were trying to adopt is to adjust our training syllabus to ensure that certain aspects of reform, like the human rights, are brought on board. To what extent were you able to bring those changes, and what, as an IG, if appointed, would you wish to be changed in terms of making our police more citizen-centric? Thank you.
I think later on I will ask Honorable Koome. It was which college he was? He was the commanding. But I think the fourth person I want to give the floor is Honorable Sikei. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. I was going to ask.
Yeah. You have the floor, Sikei.
What?
Yeah, those four now you will answer. Then we go to the next
my
round.
colleague has asked is more or less what I was going to ask. But I want to start first with the nominee. Welcome. I want to confirm, Chair, that I worked with this nominee. And possibly I am one of those who recommended for his promotion. When I was in Nairobi, he did a good job when I was there. But Chair, I wanted to talk about the whole issue of community policing. Engineer, you remember that this community policing was introduced in Kenya, and it was enforced all over the country, and it worked. Where have we gone wrong? Because what my colleague is asking is, why is this gap between the people, the citizens of this country, and the police? And let me tell you, and I know that the problem is from the factory where we manufacture these policemen. Nominee, I think, and I want to thank you because you are in the police college. What I want to ask you is, can you put a finger on what we have done to bring reforms to the Kenya police? Because really, you are in the core of the training of our police officers, and that's very important. Don't you think we need to have some re-engineering of the curriculum in the training colleges in Kiganjo, Embakasi, both GSU and the AP? That's very crucial. That we need to look at the social aspect of the engineering. Are these fellows trained properly to come and work with the people on the ground? Because as I said now, Koome, there's a big gap. And I look at you and I see hope that you are going to see this service change. And I want to ask also that the Nyumba Koome people who are on the ground, are they serving? Are they assisting you in any form? And if so, what are the legal framework we have put in place to assist them? Then I want to also mention the issue of Kenya police reservists. Do we have any training of any sort? Or you just give these fellows firearms and they go and loiter around there? These are very critical people, because I work in Northeastern and I know they are very good. They can assist the police. I think we need some form of training. And then another question which I wanted to ask is, in that list of committee in the county, I didn't hear where the county commissioner is placed. Where is he? My last question is on the issue of, I know you are in a very awkward situation when some weird directives are given. Like the last time I heard that you should not allow people to fall in love in a police station. How do you implement this kind of directive? Because they are a bit queer, a bit weird. And I know you are in a very difficult situation because you find yourself to implement something which is which cannot be implemented. How do you implement this, Koome? But I wish you the best.
You can answer those. And as you do that, see how you can be precise, concise to the question so that we move forward.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Co-Chair. Honourable members, senators, thank you. I wish to start with a question by Honourable Sigei. And thank you, sir, for the kind ones, indeed encouraging. KPR. Sir, what I propose, if given the opportunity, just in case the opportunity comes my way, is to change the whole. Of course, I will involve other stakeholders. Look at the whole National Police Reserve policy. their issues. I recall one time our officers in Samburu involved in an ambush when I was the principal deputy to DIG, and to fly there. When I got there, I found a very hostile situation. And to talk to the KPR separately and the regular police, GSU, separately, the relationship was that bad. And each of them was pointing fingers at the other one. So we need to look at the training, how they are trained, the KPR, how they are trained. Are they vetted as they join the service? So, sir, Honorable Sigei says along the way it died. It did not die